Hi, everybody. This is Rose of Sharon, and I am back again with another book review. I just recently finished Roma Downey's Box of Butterflies, and if you're familiar with Miss Downey's work, she was Monica on Touched by an Angel. And this book is the story of her coming to be chosen for that role. And at first, Roma was taking a really massive risk in intoning her natural Irish accent, but had she not done that, I don't think we would have had the gorgeous character that we had in Monica. And I remember as a young child, I used to really adore that show, and there were other shows that she became involved with. And the book is really absolutely enthralling because it's a very life affirming first person POV book on just the trials and tribulations of getting your foot in the door in Hollywood, and what her family went through during the Troubles in Ireland. And I remember reading quite a bit about that when I was in school, and I always had such a tie to it due to the fact that I have a lot of Irish background myself. And I really didn't realize how much until I took the 23andMe assessment, and I thought, I am definitely more Irish than originally assessed. And it dawned on me why I have a lot of the characteristics that I do, and all of them blessings. But the whole crux of the book is getting to just the small miracles and blessings and so-called coincidences, or what I like to call God's nudges, that happen to us on a daily basis. And sometimes they're so incidental or so-called minuscule that we don't even notice them. And in this workaday hustle bustle hoi polloi that we get involved with, sometimes we kind of lose of sight of all the little blessings. And sometimes we just need to allow ourselves to sit down, take a breath, and just realize how grateful we are, how blessed we are, how how providential, how fortunate we are. And of course, I have a friend, and I'm not going to mention him by name, but it breaks my heart that he doesn't realize just how blessed he really is. And he always sees the bad, and he never sees the good. And I always wonder why. I guess it's because it's what he's been through, and just all of the trials and tribulations. And it's just, it feels like the hand that he's been dealt, but it might be the perspective that he has, because it's just that he's dealt with a lot of crap. And it's hard to look beyond that, especially when you don't know what else to respond to, and or how to change that methodology. And it's just like I was talking to this woman on telephone, and it's just these self-fulfilling prophecies, these old ideas, these limiting beliefs, they don't serve me anymore. Let that go. And I thought, yes, there's so much truth in that. And honestly, there was a chapter in there about romance that really hit home for me, because since I've been 21, I've been just praying to God for the right man to come into my life. And Roma had been doing the same thing. And Della Reese, her coworker, her friend and mentor, said just pray it over. And not what she meant by pray it over wasn't do it repeatedly, but pray it over to God and then just leave it with him. And I thought, whoa, that's deep, that's very profound. But the book is beautifully illustrated, and this was published this year. It's brand new, and it's absolutely stunning. It is an exquisite book if you're like me and you're a huge fan of Touched by an Angel. And the life lessons and everything in it. You'll Never Walk Alone was something that was in there, and I thought that was something that was very special to me as well growing up, and it really touched me. And I'm glad I had the chance to read it. I wish I could own it, but unfortunately, pinching my pennies and saving for the future and getting prepared for a trip to Israel, you have to sacrifice. And I think that in all truth, it's the best thing I can do. I've already gotten lucky. I'm going to be able to see Ninja Sex Party in October, and I didn't think that it was possible, but I kept asking God. I said, just let me see a dragonfly if I'm going to the concert. And I kept seeing dragonflies, and I'm still seeing dragonflies, and I thought, it's this is happening. It's really happening. And I finally put enough money on my old card. Everything's transitioning, so I have a new card because I have a new account. The old one's going to be obliterated, and everything's going to be moved into my name. It's complicated, but anyway, I keep seeing dragonflies. I actually saw a dragonfly today, and I thought, thanks God. I knew it was going to happen. I know it's going to cost me. It's going to cost me another day off, but I've only had 2 days off this whole year. One was because I had to go take an appointment, but the appointment was already something I knew, and I'm gonna have to go get that taken care of eventually in the future. It's minor. The other was I contracted food poisoning. And that's never happened before. As if you've watched me and you are familiar with me, you know that I am not the type to get ill. So I ate something that didn't agree with me. It was probably E. coli from bad lettuce. That's my assessment, and my that's my deduction. I don't know if it's right, but logic dictates that this is what occurred. I'll never eat there ever again. I'm sorry, Jimmy John's. Your food, I loved it, but I'm not touching you with a 10-foot pole. But I was going to walk in a suicide prevention walk, which I unfortunately didn't get to do. It was going to be for my Uncle Hugh and myself. My Uncle Hugh committed suicide long ago. He had PTSD. That was part of it, but it would have been held in his honor. But I know he would have been proud, and he and I are very much similar in just how offbeat our humor is and how spontaneous we are. But I really wasn't able to do a terrible, awful lot because I was confined to Sir John of Plainfield, and yeah, that was a whole heaping bunch of fun, for lack of a better term. And I'm just glad it's over. I'm happy it's over and done with, and I can consume food rather than just have the what they call the brat diet. But anyways, if you're similar to me and you like Roma Downey and you want to learn a lot, want to learn about what happened on the set and what led to what became Touched by an Angel, what became the Bible, what became the Dove Keepers. I remember watching all those shows and loving them immensely. Um, it's it's just absolutely sensational, and it's stellar, and maybe at some point in time I can actually own it, because I feel like it's a book that's a reference book instead of just a book that you read once. And it's something that it's like the book When God Winks at You. It's very similar, and it reminds you that God is in everything, and He'll show up in ways that you never expected, just like with dragonflies. And with me, it's butterflies too. Butterflies will show up, and I've seen a lot of monarchs. Monarchs are my favorite, other than the blue dianthus. Um, the blue dianthus is particular to North Carolina. Well, it goes all over the U.S., but it's a very pretty butterfly. It's black and blue. It has blue wingtips, and it's our closest relative to the morpho. I just call it the small morpho, the tiny morpho. And when I see a monarch, I know Dad's watching me, or a goldfinch, because I see a lot of goldfinches, or hawks. He'll do hawks and kingfishers definitely, but monarchs are the one symbol I know for certain. And now with dragonflies, dragonflies everywhere. Even though it's late September, it's a little bit unseasonably hot for the year. But I'm thinking we're having an Indian summer. But that's all I have to say. So until next time, live long and prosper. Ciao tutti.